Hey talkers, it's your girl Q. How are you? Did you guys miss me? It's been 24 hours since I posted. Well, not really 24 hours. It was like less than 24 hours. Did you guys listen? No? Yes. Okay. Anywho, how are you guys? Today I want to talk about something really interesting because I was catching up with some old friends via Instagram DM. You know, that's how people communicate nowadays. We don't meet up face to face anymore. But I was catching up with an old friend, and I feel like everyone is having the same song and dance. And we're all complaining about the same thing, being an adult. We hate it. I sincerely hate being an adult. Like, as a child, I couldn't wait to be an adult. But now that I am an adult, oh God, please take me back. There are days where I'm just like, take me back to high school. Please take me back to high school. Take me back to elementary school. Because these adult responsibilities, they're not for me sometimes. These bills and these constant have to go to work and having to do adult things, sometimes I kind of want to take a pass on it. Like, sincerely want to take a pass on it. Now, don't get me wrong. The fun adult stuff, like the partying, the staying out late, the being on your own, the not worried about mama have to call your phone, or you have a curfew, or you can't go here, you can't go there. You get to make your own decisions. That I'm okay with. But all the other stuff, paying rent, paying a phone bill, paying a car note, doing all of this, having to have a job just to breathe and survive, that song and dance, I really can't stay in tune with. And I say this because I wrote a blog post about this, about 30 going on 13. I kind of want to reinvent that movie where it's like 13 going on 30, but I want to go backwards. Let's reverse it. How about we go back to being a kid, right? And let's reminisce about the days in high school or elementary school, or the days where bills wasn't a priority. Let's just reminisce about that. Let's reminisce where our biggest issue was what we had to wear to school or what we had to eat when we came home. Let's reminisce about those good days. Let's just think about that. Or prom. What are we wearing for prom? Or this boy doesn't like me. Let's just think about those days. Now, especially my age, people got kids. People are in relationships. People got homes. People got cars. People got multiple jobs just to be able to pay for all of those things that I just mentioned. Kids, home, cars, all of the above. And it's so funny because my best friend and I were sitting down yesterday. She came over and we were talking to my sister, which is about 3 years younger than me. And she's saying she wants to move out and so on and so forth. And my best friend was like, you don't have to move out. If you don't have to, don't move out. And I sit back and I think about it. I always say this. I always say if my mother lived lived on the island of New York City, I'd live with my mom for the rest of my life. And my sister said this too. She's like, yeah, I'd live with her until she physically kicks me out. And I agree. Because, one, we get a job just to pay bills, right? We move out of mama and dada's house. Mama and dada. I say dada. We move out of their homes to be able to get our own homes. But we don't even get to enjoy our own homes because majority of the time is spent at work or finding a way to make money to pay for the home that we don't even get to spend time in. And then by the time you do want to spend time in the home, you realize you don't even have food in the home. So you still got to go back to work to be able to put food in the home. And then when you put food in the home, you don't have time to be in the home, so the food rots in the refrigerator or in the cabinets. Am I right or am I wrong? Because I swear I go through this nonsense. I'll go do a fresh grocery shopping, but I have to work about 2 weeks straight nonstop, sometime a month nonstop, just for me to get back home and finally have a day off, open up my refrigerator and find out half the things I bought is molding. Like, this is the life. And then those who don't go grocery shopping, you go to their house and the refrigerator is just blank white. Like, there's just nothing in there. The cabinets are just bare because you're never home, so you don't even think about putting anything in there to go rot. You get what I mean? So I sit back and I just be like, bring me back to the days where I would come home and the food that my mother bought that I didn't have to pay for would actually get eaten. Like, it wouldn't go rotten. Like, it would actually be eaten. And it's just certain things, like, and then when the bills start to really pile up, that's when the anxiety and the stress and the headaches start to fill up. And you're just like, what am I doing? Should I just move back home? And then when you do come back home, you're like, I need to get out. Then you get out and you're like, it's like a constant tug of war. Constant tug of war. I know it is, because I'm in that tug of war with myself. There's days where I'm like, I want to be here. I want to be home with my mom. But then I'm like, once I'm here, I'm just like, oh, I'm losing my mind. I can't be here anymore. I need my own space. I need to get my own apartment. Then I get it, and I go through financial difficulties. And I'm just like, I need to come back. So I get it. And it's funny because I was texting, and I text a lot of people, by the way. You guys will always hear me say I was talking to one of my friends. I'm always talking to somebody. There's days where you don't hear from me. That means I really need a break. But I was texting one of my friends as well last night. And she even said it to me. She was like, how's New York? I was like, I'm over it. I'm ready to go back to LA. Can't wait to go back. Which I will be leaving very soon, you guys. Can't wait. And she was like, but I thought you said you were over LA. Now you're over New York. So which is it? I was like, you know what? It's both. In real life, it's both. 6 months here, 6 months there. That's the true life I wish to live. If I could spend 6 months in LA and 6 months in New York City, life would be grand. Now, it would be even grander if, is that even a word? I think it's more grand or whatever. It would be even more grand if I had the money to pay for a place for both. So I could be able to be in New York, because I would like to move back to Brooklyn. I used to live in Brooklyn, and that was one of my favorite times of my life. I was like 21, living on my own, had my own apartment. I loved it until I couldn't afford it anymore, but I enjoyed it. Well, it wasn't that I couldn't afford it anymore. It was more so that the roommate that I had, the lease was up, and then we had to go our separate ways, and I had to find somewhere else, and I couldn't afford that. Huge nonsense. It just wasn't meant to be. If you listen to yesterday's convo, that's what I said. But it's just like, I wish I could have a spot in Brooklyn and also have a spot in LA and be able to fly back and forth. But in reality, I wish I could go back to being a child and not have to worry about paying for any of it. But then again, I actually want my own space. I love my own space. I like being on my own. I like being in a place where nobody knows me. And I also like being in a place where sometimes I would like to be known. So it's like a love-hate relationship with both New York and LA that I'm having. I know I got off topic, but it's just something I want to get off my chest. It's off now. Thank you. But it's just like these things that I just think about, like these bills and having to clean up after yourself. My favorite is when I realized when I was in my own apartment in LA, and I made a mess, and I had to work for 3 days straight, nonstop. And when I came back home, the mess was still there. Nobody cleaned it up. You want to know why? Because nobody lives with me to clean up. When you live with your mama, you make a mess. Yes, she complains. But at the end of the day, she'll clean it up, because at the end of the day, if she got people coming over, she don't want them coming over to a messy house. So that's when I had to realize, oh, shoot, I got to clean up after myself. Nobody's here. Not to say that I'm a really dirty person. I really am a very neat and organized person. But there are days, we all go through it, when, life just gets a hold of you. And you're in emotion, and you just got to keep going. And then when you finally stop, you look and you're like, whoa, what the hell happened in this house? I got to clean it, because nobody else is going to do it. Let's go back to when I didn't have to worry about that. And there are like other aspects to that as well, because at the same token, stress was not that big of a deal for me when I was younger. And I know other people have different ways of living. Some people prefer to be an adult now than being a child, because they had a harder life as a child and have a better life as an adult. But as for me, I can say I have 50-50. I had a great life as a child, and I have a great life as an adult, despite the typical adult stuff that we all go through. But I always think about living in the moment. And when I was a child, I felt as if like I enjoyed every moment a lot more. I felt every moment. I can feel and taste and see and smell everything around me. Now I feel like my senses are not as heightened as they were when I was a child. Like, there's certain things people will tell me, oh, XYZ, you remember when we were doing this, when we went out, this happened, this happened, this happened. And I'm just like, where was I? Because all of that's a blur to me. And the only reason why is because if you go back to like my old conversations, I talk about living in your head versus living in the present. And what I realize is as you get older, you start to live more and more in your head only because your problems and everything starts to weigh on you a lot more. So you start to vision it in your head and you try to figure out solutions instead of being present to see what's going on in front of you. But you're living in your head to try to figure out, what's my next step? What am I going to do? What this problem that is about to occur in a week or in a month, I need to figure out how to solve it now. But truth be told is that sometimes you can't figure out how to solve it now. Sometimes you just got to be present, and being present is what actually gives you the solution. And that's something that I tell everybody to do as well. But you know how they say people can give advice but never take their own advice? Well, that's me. It's like every day I have to keep reminding myself, be present, be present, be present. As a kid, I can remember a lot more things than I can now. And I don't know if it has to do with age and your memory just be going out, but I don't think I'm that old for my memory to just start going out right now. So that majority has to do with me trying to live in the present. And all of this stuff that we realize is that when you are a kid, there's just a lot less on your mind, a lot less going on. So you have the ability to be more present a lot more frequently because you're able to see things and smell things. Why do you think kids always hear everything you say? They always know all the drama. They always know all the zens. I say zen for my Haitians. That means they know all the gossip. You want to know why? Because they ain't got nothing else to worry about and nothing else to do. But as you get as an adult and your kid starts coming to you and starts telling you, Mama XYZ, blah, 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 and you start looking at them like, what? That's what you're worried about? It should be least of your worries. But what we fail to realize is that that's their only worry. So that's why it is the most of their worry. For us, we have things that are bigger to worry about. So that's why those problems are least of our worries. And these are the things that we teach our kids. Not to say that it's bad, because it's better that we teach them the small things should not become bigger things in your life, because there are bigger problems that will occur. But nonetheless, at the same token, we also don't want to show them what the big problems are. We want to try to help them when they get to our age or when they become independent like us. We want to be able to show them how to get out of it. And the thing is, sometimes it's hard. Life is hard. I wish someone told me in high school life was going to be hard. They actually did tell us in high school life was going to be hard. We just never listened. We just thought there were adults complaining and nagging until we became an adult, and now we're complaining and nagging. Adulthood is hard. It really is. It's not something that's easy. It's not something that someone has a guidebook to, because sometimes when they do, life shows you a different direction or a different route, and you're just like, whoa, that wasn't on the test. So what are we going to do about this? You get what I mean? And actually, I said that wrong. That wasn't on the study guide, so we can't take the test. You get what I mean? That makes a lot more sense. Yeah, that does make a lot more sense. Yeah, I like that one better. We're going to use that one. Okay, let's keep that one. But, yeah, I have conversations with myself, right? Someone actually told me, since I talk to myself a lot, once I start answering myself, I should go seek help. So I haven't answered myself yet, so I ain't seeking help yet. I'm still here. But these are the things that I actually really do think about. I really do think about, I wish that someone had a plan for us. I wish the things that I go through now, I wish I knew before. But the only way for me to know about it is to find someone who's experienced in it. No one's experienced in my family or within my close net of friends with my lifestyle. I believe I'm a one percenter. And as a one percenter, you sacrifice a lot. And sacrifices are bigger and harder than certain other sacrifices. Just to be able to make it to another level. Just to be able to touch that 1%. And I've been saying this my whole life that I'm a one percenter. That's because I believe and I know I am a one percenter. So it is the most sacrificial life ever. I believe in that because you can't get to the 1% by taking small risk. The bigger the risk, the bigger the reward, right? That's what they tell us. But honey. Sometimes I wish these rewards would come in a lot quicker than they've been coming lately. That's why there's days where I'm just like, take me back to high school. Take me to the days where my biggest worry was I didn't get enough votes to become class president. And yes, I was the one who was running for those kind of things. My senior year, I did lose to class president, but it's okay. I was prom queen. That made up for it. But I do think about that because as an adult, things are piled on us a lot more. And I always keep going back to this, is that the generation now, and I always say millennials, and I always forget to say Gen Zs as well, Generation Zs, they don't know how to deal with anxiety and stress. They don't know how to deal when problems come up. They don't know how to problem solve. And that's something that schools need to teach. Schools are kind of teaching it, but they're also steering away from it because they're giving the kids the solutions because they're just trying to get them through the system and get them out. But the problem with that is that problem solving is the only way you will survive in this world. Because if you can't solve problems, you cannot move on forward in your life. You're going to be stuck in whatever spot you're in because you do not want to create a new issue in your life for you to have to solve. So you just stay stagnant and you stay in the same pace and in the same area. You don't move. And I don't believe in that. I am the world's biggest risk taker since I've been young. I was going to school 6 days a week, driving into Manhattan at the age of 16. Just got a car, driving straight into Manhattan, scaring the living shits out of my mother every single day. Like, I was one of those people, like, Mom, I want to do this. She's like, everyone calls me Keisha in my Haitian household. Keisha, I don't know. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do it. Bye. And she always was like, you always say you want to do something. It's like you're not coming to ask. You're just coming to tell me and then you go do. Because if I sit back and I just wait for someone to give me the permission, I would never got to where I am right now. And my mother knows that. And that's one of the things that she loves and hates about me because I ain't never scared. Like, it's just like, I'm never scared. Don't get me wrong. Deep down inside, my stomach is turning and I am terrified of this crap. But I have this just strong demeanor where I know I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. My God got me. I'm going to be okay. You feel me? So that's why I have this mindset where it's like, sometimes I wish I could go back to being 13 or go back to being 17. But then I look back and I'm just like, after I have my flashback and I live in the past, I come back in the present and I'm just like, look at me breathing this shit. At least I woke up this morning. What am I complaining about? Let's figure out what the next step is. You got a whole brand new day, a brand new canvas to figure out what are you going to do with the rest of your life. A brand new day. And every day I wake up saying, thank you. Thank you, God, because yesterday I had blockage and now I'm rested. My brain's fresh. I'm ready to go. What's next? And that is what I keep asking him. What's next? So for those who are 30 and want to go back to being 13, I get it. Take a time out. Take a time out. Go back. Have a flashback. Go through your old boxes. I did that yesterday. I went through all my old boxes. I went through pictures, went through my yearbook, had a good little memory flashback. Went to sleep, woke up, and I'm just like, I'm back to being 30. Let's get this. Although I'm really not 30 yet. I'm rushing myself. I still got like a year and 2 months, but you get the gist, right? And if you have those moments where you need to take time out, do it. That's all I gotta say is just do it. All right? Till later. Bye.